Hey guys, this is Pam Balwdin. So what I am sharing today is a process video for a page that I recently made for my Documenter or Project Life album. And one of the things that I ran into when I was putting this spread together or this page together was trying to figure out how to narrow down the number of pictures that I had to include. So what I ended up with was a week where I had just kind of several everyday moment kind of photos to choose from, but then this was also just leading up to Halloween, so we had kind of a big family event where we attended like a pumpkin farm and all of that, and I had way too many photos, and I wanted to make sure that even though I will likely scrapbook our big adventure, I wanted to make sure that I still got the everyday photos in there too. So I am going with a 9 by 12 page protector that has 3 by 3 pockets so that I can get the most pictures that I can into the spread, but also still have a little bit of fun to play with paper and to add some embellishments as well. I picked out a couple of coordinating 3 by 4 cards from the Homestead Documenter Kit, as well as some of the pattern paper that was included in this month's add-on from the 6 by 6 paper pad. And then I also decided to use the stamp set that was included in this month's Documenter kit as well. I really loved the little days of the week that were included there, so my intention was to be able to create days of the week tabs to add directly onto my photos to kind of reflect an everyday moment from every day of this particular week. So I use the stamp set. I'm also using the Clean Slate pigment ink from Studio Calico. It's one of the mini stamp sets there. And I've gone ahead and stamped those days of the week directly onto another one of the journaling cards that was included in this month's kit. I am cutting those little tabs up into their individual pieces. And my next plan is to go ahead and attach those directly onto the photos with some foam adhesive. Whenever I'm putting a page together like this, or even a spread where there might be two pocket pages that go together, I really like using the strategy of repeating the same embellishment or the same style of embellishment across the page to help unify the look of the entire thing together. So that was definitely one of my intentions in using these little days of the week tabs and sticking them onto my photos. The other thing I'll mention is that I usually don't worry a whole lot about adding extra bulk to my pages at this point. I still really like having the extra dimension of pieces that come up off of the page, but I definitely get that there are some people who really don't like that at all and would prefer flat embellishments. So this is a strategy that you could use absolutely without the foam adhesive. It's not an essential element. I just like the look that it creates on this particular page, but if you wanted to use a tiny attacher or just kind of an adhesive roller and attach your embellishments directly onto your photos that way, that totally works too. So the next thing that I wanted to do was come up with a fun way to embellish or to use these patterned paper journaling cards. So I decided that I would try to take advantage of being able to see both the pattern on the front of the card as well as the pattern on the back of the card. I took a scrap piece of cardstock and used my star punch and to create kind of a template for myself. And what I did was just use a craft knife and use that template to trim just half of the star so that I could fold back the rest of the paper. It kind of creates a cool effect because now you can see the pattern on both the front and the back of the card, but it also creates a bit of a see-through element. So depending on what the opposite side of your spread is going to be, if you were going to fill it with anything or if you just liked that look of the half star kind of thing going on there, you could leave it open, you could fill it with another kind of pattern paper, however you wanted to approach it. So I already actually have the other half of this spread designed, so the back side of it and pretty much all of those pockets will be filled with something that has a white background. So it might not be too exciting, but it's a neat opportunity to kind of play, just to play with paper for a little bit. So that was my intention there. So what you're seeing here is me creating these little flip pocket kind of star pieces to fill in the pockets. And after I've trimmed out the half of the star and folded it back, I'm just using a tiny attacher to keep that in place. I think it would also look really cool if we used some stitching or something there to add a little bit more texture. And I'm going ahead and filling in the pockets. So unfortunately, what you're not going to see in this video is the part where I added my journaling. What I decided to do was to type a very long 12-inch strip of journaling and adhere it to the outside of the page so that it works as a flip page. and I'm using a 12 by 12 album to fit my 9 by 12 pages into, so it doesn't hang outside of the album, but it's just a fun way to include more words and tell the story. So I hope you've had fun watching and found a couple of ideas that you might like to try, and I can't wait to see what you guys are making in the gallery. Thanks!